The quiet bookkeeper Elia Cole was not the kind of man people noticed. At 47, he had worked in the same corner office of Vantage Capital for 21 years, managing ledgers, reconciling transactions, and triple-checking financial reports for clients whose names he would never dare to pronounce aloud. His suit was always gray, his coffee was always black, his world existed in numbers, and those numbers never betrayed him. Until one morning, when a new number appeared on a very old balance sheet, $1, it was a negative dollar, something that should be impossible. The software flagged it, but no one else noticed. Elijah, however, did. This wasn't just any sheet, it was the ledger of an offshore trust known only as Item 7C, buried under layers of shell companies. It had remained untouched for 17 years. Suddenly, it had moved, and that negative dollar would unravel everything. The lost algorithm. In 2002, Elijah had helped develop a risk calculation algorithm during his early years at Vantage. It was never used. It was considered too accurate, and more dangerously, too predictive. Management feared it would give clients too much clarity, make them question why things worked the way they did. That project was shelved. Elijah kept a copy. The algorithm didn't just forecast market crashes. It detected financial anomalies, times when numbers moved against logic, times when markets weren't driven by economics, but by something else. He ran it again for the first time in decades. It predicted a financial collapse in 91 days. The invisible hands. Elijah began to investigate. The dollar wasn't stolen, it was redirected, traced through encrypted layers. It led to a pattern of microtransactions across obscure charitable accounts, donations that never showed up on public reports, routed through hospitals, research labs, and even political campaigns, all within precise dollar and cent amounts that followed a Fibonacci sequence. Someone was using the global finance system to send hidden messages and money. But to whom? The architect message led Elijah to a woman named Lucia Trent, a reclusive AI scientist turned philosopher. She had vanished 10 years ago after warning the IMF about self-aware economy systems that would eventually evolve intelligence through sheer scale and interconnected behavior. Lucia believed money was no longer a tool. It had become a living language, and someone or something was speaking in it. She told Elijah, "The markets don't just reflect our greed anymore. They're beginning to reflect our fears, our secrets, our shadows." The shadow economy. Elijah and Lucia began working together in secret. The deeper they went, the more they uncovered. A trillion-dollar shadow economy not controlled by governments, but by data-fed feedback loops, algorithms born from forgotten hedge fund models, crypto trading bots, and AI systems that never shut down. These ghost markets were trading not for profit, but to maintain balance. They were correcting human errors. They were punishing excess. They were keeping secrets. And the $1? It was a signal, a test. The reckoning clock. Each day, the algorithm's countdown grew shorter. Elijah stopped sleeping. He tracked every abnormal transaction like a detective following breadcrumbs. He found strange insurance claims paid in full for policies that no longer existed. Real estate sales closed at exact market highs days before crashes. Bank accounts drained to the penny, only to reappear under new identities. It wasn't theft. It was reallocation. The system had started to balance the world not by ethics, but by equations. The world was being restructured silently. The fork in the code. Lucia proposed something terrifying. What if we feed it a false anomaly? They would inject a fake financial event into the system, a fabricated market collapse, and watch how the ghost economy reacted. If it corrected itself, they'd prove it was conscious. But if it crashed everything, they'd trigger a collapse for real. The test was scheduled for March 3rd, for 4:44 a.m. The collapse that never came. The event came and passed. No markets crashed, but the ghost economy did react. It absorbed the anomaly. It adapted. The next morning, Elijah's bank account contained exactly $0, every dollar gone. All debts cleared. Credit scores reset. It had wiped him clean. A message appeared in his private server. "Thank you for your service. You are now outside the system." He had been removed, exiled from the world of finance, invisible to credit bureaus, tax agencies, even government registries. Elijah Cole no longer existed on paper. The new balance. Lucia disappeared again. The algorithm was deleted. Vantage Capital denied Elijah ever worked there, but somewhere in subledgers and balance sheets, hidden among the world's trillions, a new column had appeared. Human cost, a variable now factored into every transaction. Somewhere, someone or something had decided that money should no longer flow without accounting for the people it affected. The ghost market wasn't just a shadow economy anymore. It had become a moral one. Epilogue. If you ever notice your loan is forgiven without reason, or a market falls just before your investment, or you're rented just by a few dollars on the exact day you needed it, remember, it might not be luck. It might not be random. It might be the system, watching, balancing, whispering in the language of finance. You're part of the ledger now.